content that nobody can see but you, and we didn't put our lights on.
Oh.
Well,
we didn't need them before.
I guess we didn't need them before.
No.
Well, now you get to see all the behind the scenes.
Turning on the lights. Look at the difference.
Turning on the lights.
Woo!
Ah, there I am.
Oh, there she is.
There she blows. There she glows.
Speaking of bobbing for apples, I didn't know that bobbing for apples was a mating ritual or like a dating ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we learned.
We learned for 2 episodes from now.
Oh, so you know the answer to something.
Get ready for that. Yeah, bobbing for apples meant bobbing for
dildos.
Boys. Bobbing for boys. Gross.
I don't like it. I don't like the imagery that this is conjuring in my mind.
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes a dick. You know what I mean? That's not true.
Nobody needs...
I love a dick. I don't love a dick pic, and I don't want a dick in a barrel full of apples. If I'm expecting an apple in my mouth, that surprise is not going to always be welcome.
Yeah, that would
what I mean?
That would be intense if you were bobbing for apples and all of a sudden a dick floated up. And you'd be like,
no, like a disembodied dick?
Yeah, I'm just seeing
that's
floating dicks.
I want to write a book of memoir. What is it called? A memoir. A book of memoir.
A book of...
Something's happening.
Oh, no. We better start before her brain turns off.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Bobbing for disembodied dicks?
I think that's what
something like that. Okay.
All right. On that note, are we ready for another fun episode of Fucking Smarter?
I guess so.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's do it. So... Go ahead.
Welcome to Fuck You, I'm Smarter, the comedy game show where we compete with a guest to be crowned the smartest person in the room. Zoom, YouTube Live.
YouTube Live. Everybody loves a YouTube Live.
Remember when today was Columbus Day? Today
is and was and will forever be Columbus Day.
Boo! When did we stop doing Columbus Day? Only 2 years ago.
I have a quiz for you about that.
Excusez-moi. Now, Christopher Columbus was not the same as Johnny Appleseed, as we've learned on this show.
As most of us have always known.
I just, as a child, mixed the two together.
Have we done a deep dive into Johnny Appleseed on the show yet?
No, we haven't.
Because I don't know who he is.
I
thought he was George Washington.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I think he was just a children's book where Johnny Appleseed went around town throwing apple seeds, and that's how the apple trees grew.
And then when did the disembodied dicks inside the apple barrel come in? Oh, never mind. That was from our YouTube Live that you may not have seen.
Yes,
I may have cut that out of the
This
is the content you're missing. We have a whole discussion.
If you aren't on the YouTube Live, you're missing disembodied
dicks floating in a barrel full of apples.
Was Johnny Appleseed real? Oh,
here we go.
What about Johnny Appleseed, the outdoorsman, who is said to have traveled on foot across the United States planting apple trees? He was a real person, although some aspects of his life were mythologized
Good girl.
over time. John Chapman was born in Massachusetts in 1774. Wow. Real man.
He was a real man, and he was just he would not take no for an answer when it came to gardening.
No, he was like, I'm about to plant some seeds.
He was an aggressive arborist.
Wow. He helped settlers. He loved animals.
How did he help settlers? By killing Native Americans?
No, he got along with the Native Americans, it says.
Well, they all say that.
And he was a welcomed visitor, it says.
From whose perspective?
Biography.com.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Chapman's voice had been strong and loud as the roar of wind and waves, then soft and soothing as the balmy airs that quivered the morning glory leaves about his gray beard. But he is kind of responsible. That's what it says.
That's what someone wrote about him.
It says in an article, who wrote this article? In the Harper's article.
Sounds like people really liked him.
That's what one woman said about his voice. Oh, seems like he was kind of sexy.
He may have been sexy.
Johnny Appleseed was a bit of a ladies' man.
So is that what they mean by sowing your seed?
Ooh, you're Johnny Appleseed.
Heyo.
Maybe he started that. Interesting. Well,
Lindsay,
this episode has nothing to do with Johnny Appleseed.
No, but we've learned a lot already.
I mean, I have.
Shall I go first with my game?
Well,
or did you want to get...
I know that you mentioned that you have a quiz about Columbus Day.
Right. Formerly known as Columbus Day.
So
the artist formerly known as Columbus Day.
I think we should talk about that first.
Okay, let's do it.
Fuck the noise.
Yeah, fuck the noise. And the Noid.
Fuck the Noid.
That's only for people of a certain age, I imagine. Do you remember
what is
the
that
Noid?
from? Fuck the Noid.
Isn't that a character from a Domino's commercial? It was like a character that was something about Domino's pizza, like stole your pizza or something.
The Noid.
The Noid. Avoid the Noid.
Avoid the Noid?
Yeah. What does it say? Domino's has brought back
the Noid because God is dead.
That's what Reddit
says. Domino's has brought back the Noid because God is dead.
I agree.
The Noid is back. I don't remember who the Noid was.
Go to images.
I am.
We're going to have to post. We have to post the Noid.
Avoid the Noid.
We have to post this.
Yes. Okay. So fuck the Noid. Here we go.
Right. So once again, that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No.
Indigenous Peoples Day is... Yeah! It's a holiday that celebrates and honors Native American peoples and commemorates their histories and cultures. It's celebrated across the United States on the second Monday in October and is an official city and state holiday in various localities. It began as a counter-celebration held on the same day as the U.S. federal holiday of Columbus Day, which honors Italian explorer Christopher Columbus.
A federal holiday?
Yes.
Banks were closed?
Yes. Many reject celebrating him, saying that he represents the violent history of the colonization in the Western Hemisphere. I mean, it's really undisputed fact. And that Columbus Day is a sanitization or cover-up of Christopher Columbus's actions, such as enslaving Native Americans.
1,000%.
1,000%.
Okay. We can get fired up.
Uh-oh.
But we can
you're going to defend
recognize
him as an Italian American?
No, we can recognize growth and change by taking away his day.
Yes.
Did it take too long? Sure, 1,000%.
It's also not federally recognized,
which is amazing.
No, it's not.
You mean
Indigenous Peoples Day is not.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're
it's states' rights. Some states have recognized it, and some cities, even within states, have recognized it.
Okay.
Number one, Lindsay.
Yes.
Indigenous Peoples Day was first instituted where? Was it A, in Berkeley, California, B, in Vancouver, Canada, or C, in Portland, Oregon?
Ooh, crunchy places.
Yeah.
Some real crunchy places. I'm going to go with Portland.
That is incorrect. It was Berkeley.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, Santa Cruz, California instituted the holiday. And starting in 2014, many other cities and states adopted the holiday.
Love it.
So in what year was the very first Indigenous Peoples Day? This one that was in Berkeley. So it didn't take over more popularly until 2014, but this was it's before then.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that first Indigenous Peoples Day in Berkeley? And should I give you a hint?
Yeah.
It was to coincide with the 500th anniversary of the arrival of Columbus in the Americas. But don't you know that year?
In 1492.
plus 500.
Could that really be from 1992?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. So 1992 was the first one.
Good for Berkeley.
I know.
You know, I guessed Portland because Oregon is always like a pioneer of like making mushrooms legal.
Right. Yeah.
Making heroin not like what do you call it?
Like no.
Like making it a misdemeanor, not
a felony.
Not a felony. Thank you. So I thought they would be the pioneers because they typically are like, we're lawless, just live here, in a good way. But Berkeley, I mean, I'm not surprised, but how lovely.
Yeah. At least 13 states currently do not celebrate Columbus Day? Hold on, pause. Or was that? Hold on a second. I may have written the opposite.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Well, okay, Wikipedia says at least 13 states do not celebrate Columbus Day. But in my head, I switched it to Indigenous Peoples Day because that's what I was actually looking up.
Right.
So but it says Columbus Day. So that'll be the question.
Okay.
And I guess I interpreted it incorrectly. But can you guess 3 states that do not celebrate Columbus Day?
California.
Well, it doesn't say that.
Oregon.
Yes.
What else is crunchy? I feel like New York probably celebrates it doesn't?
No, New York
does, right?
Does celebrate Columbus Day.
Can I have Vermont?
Yes.
For 50, please.
Yep, you got it. So you got Oregon, Vermont.
Oregon. You said California's not one.
It doesn't say it on this list.
Okay, I got one more crunchy. What is crunchy?
Okay, that's gross.
My brain just wants to say Maine, even though it's not crunchy.
It is Maine. Maine is on there.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of them are surprising. So it says Alaska, which that's surprising. Hawaii, Iowa, that's surprising. Louisiana, surprising. Maine, Michigan, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oregon, South Dakota, Vermont, Washington, D.C., and Wisconsin.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes. So South Dakota officially celebrates Native American Day instead.
Well, they better. Their whole land is like...
Yeah. Various tribal governments in Oklahoma designate the day as Native American Day or have renamed the day after their own tribes.
Good. Nice.
Number 4, Lindsay. In 2013, here we go. This is about California. The California state legislature considered a bill to formally replace Columbus Day with Native American Day, but did not pass it. That was for editing purposes.
Got it.
But did not pass it. Do we currently reside in a city that officially recognizes Indigenous Peoples Day and has replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day? Do we currently reside in a city that did do that switch?
Well, according to my Google Calendar, it is what pops up.
That is correct.
So, yes.
Since 2017, to answer your question, the Los Angeles City Council voted in 2017, the LA City Council voted in favor of replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day.
If you go to your phone for October 11th today, it does say Columbus Day.
And Indigenous Peoples Day.
And Indigenous Peoples Day.
Because it's, for some states are still... Okay. Lindsay.
Yes.
So this last piece is not a question. I just want to highlight a Native American woman.
Great.
So in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, I'm going to highlight an Indigenous person that I learned about in college when I read her book. So I just thought of her and I was like, oh, if anyone wants to read an incredible book that gives such an insight into growing up on a reservation in like the 70s, it's fucking eye-opening.
Cool.
And it's just great. She's amazing. Her name is Mary Bravebird, also known as Mary Crow Dog, because she was married to a crow dog. So she was a Lakota Sioux. She was born in 1954. She was a writer and activist who was a member of the American Indian movement. And so just because this is, especially at that time, they were referred to even amongst themselves as American Indians. So there's a lot of like, if I say Indian, that's why,
Yeah.
So she was a member of the American Indian movement during the 1970s and participated in some of their most publicized events, including the Wounded Knee incident when she was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. So Bravebird was the author of 2 memoirs, Lakota Woman, that's the one that I read in college, and Ohitika Woman. Her friend Richard Erdos helped to edit the books, and Lakota Woman was published under the name Mary Crow Dog and won the 1991 American Book Award. It's fantastic. It's like hauntingly beautiful. In these 2 books, written 15 years apart, Bravebird told how the American Indian movement, or AIM, gave meaning to her life. Lakota Woman, written under the name Mary Crow Dog, portrays her life from her birth to 1977, and Ohitika Woman, written under Mary Bravebird, covers events up to 1992 and adds new details to the earlier history. So just a little brief history about her. Mary Bravebird's mother had been raised in a tent in the village of Hedog on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, and then taken to St. Francis Mission Boarding School, where she was converted violently to Catholicism. So there's a lot of talk. So we basically, those what are they called? The
missionaries?
The missionaries, but what are they called? The residential schools that they had in Canada. Like, we had those too.
Yeah.
That's what this was. And they were very abusive. And then Mary Bravebird ended up going to that same school as well. So she grew up on the Rosebud Reservation, facing poverty, racism, and brutality from an early age. Her family were descendants, or her grandfather was a descendant of the legendary warrior Pakeska Masa, meaning iron shell, who became a chief of the Wablanicha of the Brule or Sikanju tribe of the Lakota Sioux, of which she is a part. So they were descended from a distinguished family, but she was not taught a great deal about her heritage because it was basically beaten out of them at the residential schools. Her mother would not teach her their native language because she said speaking Indian would only hold you back and turn you the wrong way. Yeah. So she was sent to that same St. Francis Mission boarding school when she was 5, and she reported that the nuns beat the students who practiced native customs or spoke their native languages.
Wow.
So she later ran away from the school and began her teenage life drinking heavily and getting into fights. While still a teenager, she became involved in the protest activities of the American Indian movement, and she first began to find a new spirit and meaning in being Indian. When she was 16 in 1972, she participated in the Trail of Broken Treaties March on Washington, D.C., after which the protesters occupied the Bureau of Indian Affairs building. And that's where she met Leonard Crow Dog, who later became her husband. He was a Sioux medicine man, very active in the movement, and taught her much about Indian traditions. They also appeared, little fun fact, they had cameo appearances in the 1991 Oliver Stone film, The Doors.
Oh.
Yes. So, I'm just trying to see how much more of this I want to read, but I really love her. She unfortunately died on February 14th, 2013.
What's the name of her book, Kelly?
Lakota Woman. Lakota Woman.
Wow.
Yeah. So she had her first child. She gave birth to her first child like while they were protesting at Wounded Knee, which was like a huge it's a historic place because that's where the U.S. cavalry had massacred hundreds of Sioux in 1890. But then in 1973, I believe, they had a big demonstration there that lasted a long time. It was kind of like a.
And she gave birth while she was there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's really incredible. It's just really, her life is crazy and just wild. And anyway, there was a movie made about it. And
what's the movie called that's made about it?
It's a 1994 movie called Lakota Woman: Siege at Wounded Knee.
Oh, so they did
produced by Jane Fonda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, anywho's, that was. There's a lot more I could say, but look her up, read her books, and
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we don't really celebrate anything now on Columbus Day. But I think it's a good opportunity to think about people that were here before us that,
not that long ago
that are still here and still living. And, we owe everything to them because we wouldn't be here if we didn't steal everything from them. Cool.
Yeah. And
cool,
just to I think a lot of this is kind of part of the reason we started the podcast, right? Like, we don't learn, I would have never learned what I learned about about this movement and about what happened during these times in America to the Native people if I hadn't read this book that sparked that.
Right.
I would have had no foundation of knowledge for it at all. And I still have obviously it's scratching the surface, but
you hope that our kids, our generation's kids.
Not our kids. Not mine.
Yes, our generation's kids. You would hope by the time they're in school that these things, more and more of these truths about the history of this country will be revealed and taught to them.
But the problem, not to get up on a soapbox and talk about this too much, but the problem is that it's being stopped from being taught in schools, just critical race theory, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
The real truths are still being suppressed.
Well, that's why everybody has to move to California.
But that's not possible. We need to change it from grassroots, in those. That's why voting is important, et cetera, et cetera. But
I'm sure we got a couple of asides from teachers that were like, well, Christopher Columbus also gave everyone smallpox.
I'm sure we did, yeah.
But I don't think we really understood.
No, not at all.
At that age, what that means and how big that is. And how those things are still happening today. During COVID, we talked about this on the podcast as well. I went on a road trip with my parents and we got to a reservation. I think we were in North Dakota or South Dakota. And there was just one guy with a clipboard, a Native American, you don't have local plates. You can't come through here.
Yeah.
We don't have the money.
We don't have
and
the resources.
If we get sick, we're fucked, you know? So
don't come here with your COVID blankets.
Right. Go drive the extra 5 hours. You're not cutting through.
Good for them.
Absolutely. And I think that when you see that with your own eyes, you have an understanding of it, but maybe you're not always reminded of
And I bet some people were pissed off about that and didn't understand why they
drove
had the right
through.
To do it.
It was just a guy with a clipboard. Anyone could have just been fuck off, dude, and,
so
and driven by.
Yeah.
I was just seeing a lot of people turning around, and that was really
good,
nice, Or our friend Krista, who worked on a reservation for a lot of COVID and saw the lack of supplies and resources. These people are still suffering because of the history of what
a lot of these reservations, parts of them don't have running water.
Right.
It's really, still quite a disparity.
Yeah. So I think it's, it's a step forward to stop celebrating Columbus Day, but there's obviously a lot more work to be done. And, I always, when I feel privileged and like, like what do I do to help? I always say this on this podcast, like we'll give you resources in the notes if you want to volunteer somewhere, if you want to donate somewhere, like these are the people that need help right now.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about ghosts.
Oh, good.
Let's talk about ghosts because it may be ex-Columbus Day, but we're also still in spooky season.
Oh, we're right in the middle of it. We're right in the middle of it.
So let's wrap this episode with a little ghost talk, shall we?
My favorite. We're
going to play a quiz called You'll Orgasm from this Phantasm quiz.
Perfect. I'm glad we're filming this.
That's right, bitches, because Kelly's about to orgasm.
Woo!
I have a question, Kelly.
Yes, I would fuck a ghost.
Tell me more.
Was that your question?
No, but I want to know more.
Well, I was just thinking about it.
Let me set the scene. You're asleep. You've got your book on your nightstand.
Sure.
Your vibrator's under your pillow.
Absolutely.
Next to you.
No, my cat is on my pillow next to me.
No, your vibrator's under the pillow. Your cat is on the pillow.
Got it.
Been sleeping about 2 hours.
Okay.
It's 2 a.m. And you hear a noise.
What kind of noise?
What is that?
What is it?
Henry, are you there?
Who's Henry? I don't have a Henry.
Just your imaginary friend.
Oh.
The imaginary man that lives in this house.
Don't say things like that.
Well, it's not Henry.
Okay.
It's a ghost.
Okay. Is the ghost's name Henry or?
No. This is a different.
What's the ghost's name?
The ghost's name is Steve. And Steve.
That's my ex-boyfriend.
No, it's your ex. Okay. The ghost's name is Piper. Go with it.
Okay.
Piper is piping hot.
Okay.
He comes in, no shirt on, just dingle dangle out.
Okay.
And he wants to bone, and he's ready to go.
Hot.
He's rock hard. Okay.
Rock hard ghost dick.
Okay. But you can feel it. Your
can
hand
I see
doesn't go,
him?
when you go to grab it, your hand doesn't go through it.
Got it.
You could grab it.
Can I so I can see him?
You see him. He looks almost like he's blurry, but he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you could feel his presence.
And he's hot.
And he's so hot. How many seconds does it take for you to decide to have sex with Piper?
So we can't speak to each other. There's no
communication. I think you're talking to each
we're
other.
talking.
He's like, hey.
He's like, hey, I want to put it in you.
Yeah. Touches your hair and you feel the wind.
Wow. I'm into it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like I would like to get to know him a little bit first. Mm-hmm. So I would like to know like where he grew up, how did he die?
Interesting. Where do you see this happening? In the bedroom, or are you going to
while
I'm
stroking his ghost penis?
Got it.
And then when I feel like we've had an adequate kind of getting to know you moment, then I'll let him.
How long is that moment?
I'm gonna say like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. All right, so he's still there.
I only need to know Ghost for 5 minutes to know if I want to fuck him.
Okay, that wasn't my question, but I'm glad we got through that. So here's my question.
I wouldn't marry one though.
No, you can't marry one.
That's crazy.
People would think you're
crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Totally fuck one though.
Kelly, consensually. What is the difference between an orb ghost and a funnel ghost?
Oh, wow. I thought you would never ask this, and I'm so glad that you did. An orb ghost appears like an orb. Like it's just like lights, kind of like orb-like lights. And then a funnel ghost is the kind that you find at a fair that likes to eat funnel cake. Close
but no cigar. Orbs, yes, they're floating balls of light. A funnel ghost shows up as a blurry spot in photographs.
A blurry spot.
A blurry spot in... I just had a memory of something.
What?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it for this episode. But for
you have a picture of a rock hard ghost dick?
I have a picture of a phantom dick.
I can't stop.
At my friend Mandy's bachelorette party,
Stop it.
There was a stripper, and his dick was like moving.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
we took a picture. It's like a ghost dick. I'll have to find it.
Wow. He had his dongle totally out.
I have to find that. And then there's a picture of me as a ghost once that Jolene took. I'll have to find that.
Oh, I remember that. I thought I was a ghost in that picture.
Were you the ghost?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm going to look for it.
And I'm wearing that big sweater that Helen gave me, and I look like a phantom.
You're a funnel ghost.
I'm a funnel ghost. I was a funnel ghost. We have to find that picture.
Too. All right,
if Facebook is working, we'll put it on Facebook.
Yes.
We'll get it from Facebook.
I'll find it. Okay. These kinds of ghosts, also known as noisy ghosts, they can touch objects in the physical world.
That's the kind of one that fucks.
They like to make noise and they like to create mischief.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of ghost? What is this kind of ghost called? A noisy ghost.
A noisy ghost.
Also known as a noisy ghost.
Would it be like a poltergeist?
Yes! Yes.
And oftentimes poltergeists are they occur when there is a troubled person, generally like a young person in the house. That's when there's often a correlation.
Oof.
All those hormones, you know.
Oliver, I'm going to get you a poltergeist if you don't stop eating things in the house. Okay. Why does it seem that ghosts prefer to spook and hang out at night rather than during the day?
That's a great
Why do people
question.
think ghosts are around at night and not during the day?
I think that they are around all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but there is something about nighttime that is more like quiet. It's more like open to maybe that kind of like shadow side of things. You know what I mean?
I see. I'm going to add on to that. That yes, they are around all the time, but people do associate ghosts because of the witching hour, right? We call nighttime like the witching hour, but also some say that when fewer electronic devices are being used, which is kind of what you just said, that there's room to notice spirits. So in the quiet, there's like more space for that than running around during the day.
Yeah.
With more going on.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kelly.
Yeah, that's me.
People claim that there are 6 common hints that there may be a ghost nearby. Can you name a few of these?
Definitely like a cold spot. Like it feels cold. So yeah, change in temperature. I would say, things like, well, I guess this would be poltergeist specific, but like something falling off the wall for no reason, or like something being moved that like there's no other explanation for it being moved.
Okay.
Well, obviously like the picture, like a blurry dick in a picture or an orb in a picture.
What about in the actual room with you?
In the actual room.
What are things that could happen that you're like, is there a ghost?
That you see it? Like you see
that you
something?
Could feel something different or something happen.
Like electricity in the room, like kind of like you just sort of like feel it? I don't know.
Pets can act strange.
Oh, that's, of course. Yeah.
Doors can open on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear whispers.
Ooh, yeah.
The creaking of stairs.
Right.
Yeah. And unexplained smells.
Smells! Yes, I forgot about the smells. I've heard that some ghosts smell bad. Wow. They smell bad. Or they smell like the person that they were.
And then they've sat in that for 100 years.
No, I mean, you could, like, say your grandmother died in the house and then you smell her perfume.
Oh, what a cool idea. Yeah. Oh, I want that. But my grandmother always smelled like mothballs.
Well, and every time you smell a mothball, think of her.
I do. I mean, her house really smelled of mothballs.
Okay.
Like bad. Well, I'm glad that fad kind of went away, you know?
I don't even know what a mothball is made of.
It's like it looks like a bouillon cube.
Ew.
But it smells like death, you know? Kelly, what is the Hungry Ghost Festival?
I don't know, but it sounds like something I would enjoy because I like ghosts and I like to eat.
Is it A, a paranormal food festival?
Hell yeah.
B, a festival to honor ghosts nearby? Or C, a Halloween art festival?
I want to go with the food festival.
It is not.
Oh, bummer. We should start that.
It's basically like Day of the Dead.
Okay.
But it's a traditional festival for Buddhists.
Oh, okay.
And they pay tribute to their deceased family members.
Okay.
And they do it so they don't get in trouble with other ghosts. We're like, look how good we are to these ghosts in our lives. So all you other ghosts, please be nice to us. That's kind of what it is.
It's a bribe. It's like, look how nice we are to ghosts. We would never say shit about people that have died. We love all of you here.
They put pictures out of their deceased
do they feed
ones.
them?
They feed them. Yeah. It's incense is burned. They like welcome in the spirits. It's a nice little tribute, but it's also like, please don't fuck with us.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
All right, let's do a few ghost riddles before the end of our episode.
Riddle me
this, Batman. A zombie, a mummy, and a ghost bought a house.
Okay.
It has all the usual rooms except for one. Which room won't you find in this house? A zombie, a mummy, and a ghost bought a house. It has all the usual rooms except for one.
I mean, I would think that they don't need a kitchen, but they also probably don't need a bathroom.
They don't need a living room.
Oh, wow. What a nerd. What a freaking nerd. Fair enough. Okay.
Kelly, what types of roads do ghosts like to drive on?
Oh, I forgot. These are going to be stupid, silly jokes.
Yeah.
Ghosts don't like to drive on... What kind of roads do ghosts not like to drive?
Oh, I guess they would like to drive on
them.
would
like to drive
on them. They would like to drive on them.
A haunted highway.
Ooh. No, the answer is dead ends.
Wow.
Okay, one more.
Oh, no, I hope this never ends.
I kept it to 3.
Good. You controlled yourself.
All right, here's a spooky one.
Okay.
The person who built it sold it. The person who bought it never used it. The person who used it never saw it. What is it?
A coffin.
Yeah!
Guys, thank you for putting up with Lindsay, and thanks for joining us on this special edition of Ex-Columbus Day, aka Indigenous Peoples Day, aka the continuation of spooky season.
Yeah, October's a big month, you guys. Like, we need to relish in this. Okay, what did we do last Halloween? I'll tell you what I did.
I don't think I did shit.
I had just frozen my eggs, and I was literally I went in my pajamas to Brian and Tim's, and I rubbed my belly.
Was this already a year ago that you did that?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Wow.
Gone.
Last year was gone.
Gone.
I can't recall what I did, although I think I sort of just sat around and watched horror movies.
Yeah, no one did anything last year, so we're going to relish in this month. If you have any bad jokes or riddles about ghosts or Halloween,
you've ever had sex with a ghost or wanted to,
please email us at fumsmarter@gmail.com.
You can follow us at Kelly and Lindsay on all the socials, but mostly just Instagram, because who cares about anything else? And even that sucks too.
Yeah.
But we're there and it's fun.
Thanks for listening. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Grand.